punk revolution now. Look at this. Now I have a thing to... Wait, come on. Is that an album I see that we're going to review? Is it possibly Weyes Blood? Her follow-up to Titanic Rising? I'm going to be honest with you folks, I actually severely love the frick out of Titanic Rising by Weyes Blood. Yes, it is a chamber pop album. I'm a punk rocker. I like my distortion. I like my angst and so on and so forth. But as just as a musician and someone who just loves music, I cannot deny that I absolutely love Titanic Rising because Weyes Blood she basically concocted a perfect album with that one. It came out in 2019. Go listen to it if you haven't already. She is combining basically just fundamentally what are just incredible songs, like melodies that are going to get stuck in your head forever, beautiful, powerful chord progressions with her absolutely gorgeous voice. She is a fantastic vocalist, and then she brings it together in a non-stop, flawless album with gorgeous, magical, reverby atmosphere, it's a very mystical, magical album, cohesive, flawless album, okay, flawless album. And here she is with her follow-up album, And in the Darkness, Hearts Aglow. So I'm going to be honest, probably my most anticipated album of the year that I've been looking forward to because I just loved Titanic Rising that much. A little nervous. I think we've all been there when an artist who released an album you love releases a new album and you're nervous because you're like, it could be amazing or it could be disappointing. You got some emotions evolving emotions into emotions. Emotions are involved in this release for me because I loved her previous release that much. But nevertheless, we are here to do an objective review. We're going to analyze. I got a monocle to analyze music now because it helps. We're going to analyze. Let's just get started by taking a look at the album cover. Oh wait, hold on. This is what I'm going to do. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this cover. So it looks like what we see here is a cover that has a digital image. It's like a digital artwork of, I'm guessing that's Weyes Blood, and her heart is glowing. It literally is glowing, which fits the album title, and In the Darkness, Hearts Aglow. And I will say it does remind me a decent amount of the Titanic Rising album cover because they're both blue. They both have Weyes Blood on the cover, and they're both kind of magical. The Titanic Rising album cover has literally her submerged underwater, like an entire room submerged underwater, and it's a very magical, beautiful picture underwater. Also a similar kind of magical vibe on this album cover, although I will say, first off, the heart glowing is kind of magical. It reminds me of like a Disney princess, maybe? Like she's a Disney princess with the power of magic in her heart is gonna save the world from darkness. It's a cool cover. It looks nice. I don't think you can ever compete with the Titanic Rising album cover because she literally submerged an entire room underwater for one photo. Pretty epic. But this is pretty too. Pretty similar vibe. Outwardly just getting into the music. There is definitely a cohesive thing going on here. It sounds like she got the whole kind of crew back together, like the same team, the same ensemble that worked on Titanic Rising. It sounds very much like, the same kind of instruments, lots of cool synths, lots of cool strings, acoustic guitar, gentle kind of soft drumming here and there, some string sections that create all these really beautiful psychedelic soft sounds that maybe have some reverb on it that might get like loops going and have some feedback that creates beautiful transitions from one song to the other. Very magical experience and also just beautiful and creates a very cohesive and gorgeous environment. You put all these beautiful elements everywhere, and then just have smack dab in the middle, Weyes Blood, her absolutely gorgeous voice, singing very melancholy melodies. It sounds like she was like, you know what, in Titanic Rising, I found the magic formula. That's a perfect album. Let's go ahead and bring it all back in the Darkness, Hearts Aglow. If you like Titanic Rising, you like the magical ingredients that went into Titanic Rising, and you want more Titanic Rising, then you're gonna get that in her newest record, at least atmospherically. Because as I'm listening to and In the Darkness, Hearts Aglow, I have to be honest, I'm just like, this has all the thingies that I thought were just so beautiful about Titanic Rising, but after listening over and over and over again, I just am feeling a little bit like, I'm not finding this as compelling as Titanic Rising, and I that's something that I've kind of struggled trying to figure it out. Is it because maybe Titanic Rising was so good that hearing an album kind of explore the same ideas again is maybe not as excitement? That maybe is a little bit part of it, but honestly, I think what it comes down to is I feel like the fundamentals that made Titanic Rising so good, which were the melodies and the stunning chord progressions in and in the darkness of Hearts Aglow, they're just not quite there. You know, like, so what I'm trying to say is, like, if you take any song, Andromeda, any song off Titanic Rising, and you literally just play it on the piano and sing, or play it on an acoustic guitar and sing, that is going to be just a fundamentally fantastic song. That's already a fantastic song. And then you take that fantastic song and bring it into the studio with the Weyes Blood genius, it's gonna flesh out into a freaking masterpiece. What I'm getting in the darkness Hearts Aglow is you have still the beautiful vocals, you still have the beautiful, cool studio magic that makes a fantastic atmosphere like Titanic Rising, but I'm feeling like if you take a lot of these songs and in the darkness Hearts Aglow and just play it singing alone on a piano, or singing alone on acoustic guitar, that fundamental like backbone of that song is just, frankly, I don't think it's gonna be as good, because there's a lot of times throughout this album where it's actually not entirely clear, like, is this the verse? Is this the chorus? Like, yes, I can tell this is supposed to be the chorus because there's some cool kind of like Beach Boys-esque choral arrangements that come in. Definitely lots of that stuff, which is really cool. Lots of these ambient moments are really, really freaking cool. Like some of these songs disintegrate with cool like nature, birds chirping sounds. That's cool. Again, that reverb that has that feedback on it that swells. Very beautiful, very magical. But you know, when we're talking about pop songs, that's what these are. These are pop songs at the end of the day. Verse, chorus, verse, chorus. I would like to have those melodies that are infectious, that you're gonna fall in love with, that have a strong distinction between the verse and between the chorus. To give a specific example of what I'm kind of talking about here is in The Worst Is Done, you have this acoustic, rhythm that's just like dan, 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 just like kind of just chugging along the guitar. That's nice. And then over that you have Weyes Blood singing whatever she's singing, and then you get to the chorus and the guitar, maybe, I can't even tell if the chords are changing, I'm sure they are, but the rhythm is just still like dan, 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 and the chorus is like dan, 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 energy-wise, the song is just kind of like flat the whole time. Is it hard? Is that supposed to be the chorus, or is that supposed to be, because isn't that different energy-wise than and that's just kind of it's just it's like if you just kind of feel like you're listening to the same thing from start to finish. Same rhythm, same acoustic guitars, maybe bring in some little cool production stuff in the chorus so this is supposed to be the part of the chorus. But it doesn't have I feel like I said, if you're just playing that song on an acoustic guitar and singing, it kind of feels like she's just kind of like talking over the guitar, just kind of like sing-talking, and it just keeps going and going. It all feels very like linear, and it's not supposed to be. And that's kind of a frustrating feeling. Like, when am I supposed to be like grabbed by this song? Where's the message here that's supposed to grab me? And that's frustrating enough. But it kind of has that same issue pretty much throughout the entire album, and it creates a really frustrating listening experience. It kind of becomes a drag to listen to. It's like, okay, this is just like it's not doing anything. It's not doing anything. And I think it really comes down to the fundamental songwriting, because the production and the beautiful, beautiful vocals, everything is still there. I'm just like not really getting it. Really, I'm not getting like what's the difference between the chorus and the verse? That is like a big mess up in a pop song. That's like a classic, like a distinct factor of a poorly written pop song, frankly, is the one where you can't really tell that much of a difference between the verse and the chorus, and they all just kind of feel like stagnant. I think one exception to this is God Turned Me Into a Flower, which is actually supposed to be a linear song, and I think in that way, given that it is a linear song that kind of builds and flourishes and develops, has really beautiful, very, I guess, kind of like philosophical, trippy kind of lyrics, and that song crescendos and kind of dissolves into this ambient, kind of reminds me of like an Animal Collective sort of ambience you'd hear, and maybe like Merriweather Post Pavilion or something like that, where it's all like these like synths looping, reverb, feedback, and then birds chirping. It's like, it's a really cool thing. I'm like, oh, that's great. And in that sense, given that it's a linear song that's a little bit trippier, a little bit more experimental, I think this song kind of fulfills the same role that Movies filled in Titanic Rising. But Movies, you know, that song Movies, I felt like it just grabbed me more. It was a little bit more stunning. I think one, because the climax of Movies is just like really like, it just is gripping. You're not gonna like, it's not gonna pass you without you noticing like, oh, Movies is something special is going on. God Turned Me Into a Flower, I feel like that just, it's more like kind of like laid back and just more pretty and more ambient and stuff, and it doesn't have that same gripping factor that Movies does, which is fine if that's what you're into, if that's what you prefer, and I think some people might prefer it over Movies, that's fine. But I think another issue too is that Movies, you have like this album that's just a collection of fantastic pop song after fantastic pop song, beautiful melody, beautiful lyrics and everything, and then to have that linear song of Movies like right in the middle of the album, it just is like, it just hits you 10 times harder. While in The Darkness, Hearts Aglow, it just, because all the songs already feel very rambly, like real rambly and just kind of like real just stream of consciousness, not very distinct between the verses and chorus and not very distinct between the songs together, that when you do get to a song that's intentionally linear, it just doesn't hit as hard. Honestly, a lot of the melodies throughout this album, frankly, sound like they're just taking similar melodic riffs from Titanic Rising and just kind of like improvising on it and just kind of rolling with it. It just doesn't create nearly as much of an impact. It's honestly disappointing. And I do think it is an important lesson here about the fundamentals of melodies. And it sounds so obvious, like of course melodies are important to pop, but you know, at the end of the day, even though the studio magic that was so important to Titanic Rising was great, I think what made Titanic fundamentally amazing was those fundamental, like, like that song just like, woo, you know, Andromeda, just like, whoa, I'm like, it's just, I'm like so in love with that song, I just want to listen to it on repeat because that melody is so juicy, delicious. None of those juicy, delicious melodies here, a lot more just about the atmosphere, when I don't think that was the point, because Titanic Rising already had that atmosphere. So it really just feels like a pretty clear downgrade from Titanic Rising. It's like the same thing without as good melodies. Basically, that's the whole long story short. I guess I'm giving this a 6.4 out of 10. It's really not horrible. You know, it's really hard to say how would I assess this album if I hadn't listened to Titanic Rising. Did Titanic Rising make my expectations too high? Am I giving Weyes Blood too much leeway with this album because I love her so much from her previous album? It's hard to say, but ultimately, this is kind of what I'm feeling. It's pretty music, it's pretty background music, I guess, but I don't know, there's some nice, I mean, she has a beautiful voice, there's some really nice moments in this album, but I'll put it this way, I feel like the very best moments from this album don't even compare to the least impressive moments from Titanic Rising. So, and before I go, let's go say hi to Romy. Let's see how she's doing here. What you doing? She's like, what is that camera doing? Hi. Okay, we'll give her a little bit of a pet here. Hey, baby. What you thinking? Do you prefer Titanic? All right. Anyways. Enough of that. Alrighty. Well, without further ado, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like this review. I really appreciate every single like, comment, subscribe. Helps my channel grow, and I really appreciate it. So thanks so much for watching, and Punk Revolution now.